brands of equipment may have their own proprietary login, but if you own a roofing contracting company, exactly, mixed fleet, if you own anything that has mixed fleet, are you going to try to manage your assets by logging in to 4 or 5 different completely separate softwares where you get 1/4 or 1/5 of the amount of data and try to take that all together in multiple windows on your computer? Probably not. One of the main things we're trying to bring to the table is break down those barriers, give you eyes on everything you have, and help you better manage everything about your job site.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about the ecosystem, where we've kind of, increased our efficiency to maximize their productivity. I think we're meeting people where they're at with like a one-stop shop platform to where they can actually monitor their fleet utilization and also look at e-logs and reporting and look at trackers and pull all the data and analysis and insights that they're looking for.
And one of the big ones that we just released is for fault codes, so these diagnostic trouble codes that are triggered on your assets. And those can be a huge indication of service being needed, and you want to detect those quickly. I had a customer who was kind of piloting it for us recently, and he got an alert that a vehicle of one of his workers triggered a fault code. And he called the guy up and said, "Hey, you just had a fault code triggered." And the guy's like, "What? How'd you know?" It's like, "You need to get into the shop to look at this." It was just really, he loved it. He loved that he knew ahead of time, or knew like immediately, that there was this case that needed to be serviced.
A lot of times the way that these preventative maintenance intervals have worked before, when you're doing your 250 hour, 500 hour, et cetera, you have guys going out to the yard and they're seeing the asset that comes in, they're writing down the hours, somebody else might go look at that piece of paper, measure it up against the last service, they might decide there needs to be service done, they might catch it, they might not, and that just leads itself to having downed machines more often and larger and more expensive repairs that keep the machine down for longer periods of time as well. It just all snowballs on top of each other. So since we have these trackers installed and we're pulling this data off of the asset, not only can we get out in front of things with predictive data, diagnostic trouble codes, different things like that, but even the basic following your PM schedules on time, it goes for miles in terms of what you get a return on the lifespan of that asset and how it runs.
Yeah, being able to pull any data and analytics that's really beneficial for the contractor from the hardware that we're attaching onto those assets. So you being able to utilize our cameras to see what's going on around your fleet, so a vehicle doesn't get lost or stolen, or you being able to track mileage and look at hours of utilization.
Even the visibility on the usage of a piece of rental equipment, right? That's a pain point for a lot of folks who rent from other places. They might not even have access to the reporting or their tools, and to see how that piece of equipment is being used, how much they spent on it, potentially how much they will spend on it by the end of their rental period. So I think just on a base level, our ecosystem does a really good job of surfacing all the usage information that surrounds that rental.